Now, coming up, yes, Taima, you're next. And we have Taima Fagaloa, who is the Director for Pacific Health, Capital and Coast District Health Board, and a second-term City Councillor for Porirua City, Council's Eastern Ward, one of two Pacific women City Councillors in New Zealand. She has been active in providing services to a range of boards and advisory groups within the area of Pacific peoples. In 2008, Taima graduated with an MA Applied in Social Science Research from Victoria University, of which her thesis focused on the relevance of health promotion programs for Pacific communities. She is the current chair of the Ministerial Advisory Group, Ministry of Pacific Island Affairs. Prior to managing a mainstream health provider in Porirua, Taima lectured in social policy at Whitireia Polytechnic for 5 years. Taima has held the role of co-convener Committee Pacifica, Council of Trade Union, and has been a member of the Service and Food Workers Union. Taima is a candidate, yay Taima, for local body elections this year for the Eastern Ward, Wellington City Council. Let me introduce to you Taima Fagaloa. Kia ora.
Well, talofa lava ki orana, whakalofa lahi atu, mahalo elelei ni sa bulavanaka, aloha ni, and very warm Pacific greetings to you all. Well, I guess you know what I was going to say with my first slide, so I'll just pop into it because I know that we're a bit short of time. Oh, thank you. Oh, great. Excellent. Oh, thank you. No, that's excellent. Thank you very much. I just want to say I'm going to take some risks with this presentation that I've probably never done before, and I bumped into my mayor who attended yesterday's forum yesterday, and she was constantly asking me, what are you going to say about Porirua City? And I said, well, I'll just say what needs to be said. So here we go. Oh, enter is it? All right. I've been invited to talk about this topic, what are the views from the outside looking in and seeing the impacts of the system on my community. I have lived in Porirua East for the last 15 years. That community have made me who I am. It's that community that have supported me to do all the roles that I have in the past. But in this picture that you see, it's a photograph taken during a protest in 2008 when a community group of about 120 people took to the streets of Porirua in protest against an application for a liquor store in Cannons Creek, directly opposite Cannons Creek School. The store was to be based opposite Cannons Creek School, and in January 2009, the Liquor Licensing Authority set case law and denied the application, and the protesters won their fight. Now, the systems involved in this particular event were the shop owner, the Porirua City Council District Licensing Authority, the Liquor Licensing Authority, Porirua Health Links Trust, Porirua Safer City Community Trust, PHOs, GPs, community organisations, principals and teachers. This was a good outcome instituted by not such a good system. So it took for a community group of about 120 people to stop a legal process, and it wasn't easy. So Porirua City, we have a population of 50,000 people in Porirua City. 27% are Pacific, 21% Māori and 50% European. And in eastern Porirua alone you have a population of about 19,000. We continue to be told that we are deprived and we are the low socio-economic community in New Zealand. The politics of Porirua. I define the politics of Porirua as the high-level functioning of where ideas and decisions are made by those elected representatives and how those ideas and decisions are developed and implemented by the policymakers. The driver being political ambition and the need to prove your worth every 3 years. This eventually leads to high levels of popularity which reinforces a vote for that political representative. Politics of Porirua are both internal and they are external. Internal politics are reinforced by the competitiveness created by contracts for funding, which reinforces territorialism and patch protection. So you can imagine we have millions of dollars coming into our community to address the disparity and the low socio-economic status. But in actual fact, how real is it? is the controversy behind my presentation. Porirua City is politically positioned to be the focus of government social policy, and in turn it has reinforced the pilot platform for government initiatives to be test run. It's close to the central government hub, which makes it easier to access than South Auckland. Its demographics are Māori and Pacific populations, which reinforces high unemployment, low socio-economic conditions, poor housing, crime, low academic achievement, health deprivation, etc., etc. It seems that anywhere in the country where there is a significant population of Pacific, for example, Porirua City, Mangere and Otara, the image of those cities are depicted by similar characteristics that bind these three cities together. The community impact usually comes in the form of a policy developed and implemented by those who may not necessarily understand the complexities of our community. Those policies target. I refer to those families living in Porirua East who have been the subject of consultation after consultation, pilot after pilot, evaluation after evaluation, to the point that they have become expert diverters of bureaucracy, i.e. they just don't want to know. For example, they see what looks like an official car. They usually will avoid answering the door or answering the phone. However, ascertaining whether they attend a local church, then targeting that church group to undergo a program of activities that ensure all parishioners can benefit can be a good way of ensuring a program is well targeted. Millions and millions of dollars are poured into Porirua annually to address the social, health and educational disparities. Education, Decile 10 is it? Or Decile 1? Because, yep, Decile 1. Schools attract higher funding. MSD funded programs result in Family Start funding, social work in schools, family violence funding, health, PHO funding, GP capitation funding, crime prevention funding, safer communities, housing redevelopment and renovation. The employment niche is social work, community work, health workers. Current risk of reducing these social programs will create a negative impact on the employment sector, but it will significantly increase disparities for the current target population, mainly because the locals are employed to work with local issues. Really important that we reinforce good and robust governance and management. Identification of good governance and management skills are needed. Monitoring contracts is probably one of my biggest beefs. Having worked in Capital Coast District Health Board for the last 18 months, the worst crime committed for me is that when contracts are not monitored or poorly monitored by government agencies. Often we have heard the stories and legends of community providers closing down due to mismanagement of funds, GST not paid, etc., deficits, etc. Where was the monitoring of these contracts? Providers cannot take the complete burden or blame themselves. If the agencies were not monitoring the contracts adequately, then obviously you will have some problems. So the perception of Porirua City continues to be a challenge in the outside world. It continues to reinforce Porirua's negative image associated with crime and unemployment, etc. This then impacts on all facets of planning for Porirua City, i.e. business development, population increase, residential growth. It reinforces victimisation and poverty mentality so contracts can be sought, which will continue to provide employment opportunities, lack of validating what is really happening in a community, lost opportunity to reinforce a positive aspect of community growth. Some locals within Porirua have said to me that they feel it is an excuse for not trying or just to accept status quo. The risks of standards of practice is that it's important that best practice is continuously being sought. Complacency can overcome innovation and identification of new models to deal with new issues. And just as a final, because I know that sometimes our policymakers react to a whole lot of visuals that can be depicted of a particular community. When you see a picture of my backyard with bags of rubbish, don't assume I am dirty and poor. Make sure you understand the context of my situation before you judge me. Ia manuia. Thank you very much.